Hey, what's up, everyone? Aaron Bowman here with the Living in Connecticut podcast. And today we are going to be talking the housing market here in Connecticut. And I actually have Howie Coro, who is on my team, joining me today.
Hello, everybody.
And this is our first time we're actually recording the podcast for YouTube while recording it for the podcast. And things here in Connecticut have been crazy with the real estate market. And really what we're going to do is we're going to go over the days on market, supply, closed sales, all that type of information that you need to know as a homeowner who's thinking of putting their house on the market. Now, always our contact information is in the show notes, so feel free to reach out to us. You can give us a call, shoot us a text or an email, what have you, and we would be more than happy to answer any questions you have of your specific location. So that being said, Howie, your audio is good finally. We're all set here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We were having some issues with our technicalities of doing this at one time. So, however, if you want to kick it off, we'll start off with the median sale price here in Connecticut.
Yeah, absolutely. So as everyone knows, here it is. We are in April already, and the weather is changing quite rapidly. It's a beautiful 72 degrees out here. So what is happening here in New England? Well, people are putting their properties on the market. And, you know, a lot through the winter and fall with the off season, a lot of people kind of hold off for the spring market because the spring market is pretty much the highlight of our year here in New England. So people are starting to put properties on the market, and I've noticed things are starting to go up because people are listing those properties. So February, the average median sale was $285. March finished off with a $295,620 as the average sale price here in Connecticut. I'm expecting that to go up in April. We will see. So, Aaron, let's go.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we're going to see continuing throughout the spring into the summer market, because as we get to the end of this, you'll see the days on, or the monthly supply that we have is still really low. So that being said, we're going to talk about days on market. And as always, days on market is from the time you meet with a realtor, you put a sign in the ground, you go under contract and you close, you get your fat check for selling your house, and somebody else gets to move in and enjoy the home that you had. So in February, that was 45 days. And it's kind of weird. I don't know where to look right now, if I should be looking at you or if I should be looking at the camera. But yeah, it was 45 days in February. In March, that dropped down to 32 days. So just think, from the time you put your house on the market to the time you're out of it, you're going to be out of it in less than 32 days. Now, that being said, as long as there's no issues with appraisals or inspections or attorneys being able to coordinate the closing and stuff like that, it should close pretty quick, which is pretty crazy right now. 32 days is nothing.
And that's my comment is like 32 days, that is like unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, just to give you guys perspective out there, I would say 60, 80,
that's usually what it is, 60 to 90 days.
Is probably average. So 45 for February, that is crazy. And now March 32, that is just amazing. I'm expecting the April to be the same way and going forward for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, I can't wait, because we always get the month previous. So right now we are in April, so we're looking at February, March. When we get into May, we'll be looking at March and April's numbers, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see that number drop, I would think, because things are just flying off the proverbial shelf, as they would put it. But go ahead, Howie. What do we got next?
Overall, these statistics are just to reassure you that this is definitely a seller's market right now.
Absolutely.
If you have any thought of selling, the time is now. Especially, from here, if you think you want to sell from now in the next 2 to 3 years, you may really want to consider doing it this year, because take advantage of this market right now. There's plenty of buyers out there. It is crazy, super competitive. So if you have a little interest in selling in the next 2-3 years, I would consider possibly doing it this year if you have an exit plan. If not, we can help you with that as well. We have a bunch of solutions. But back to closing sales. Yeah, just like the median sale, the closing sales for February was $2,964 for Connecticut, right? So just under $3,000. In March, it almost jumped up 1,000 to 3,873 sales here in Connecticut. So we are on par for a great spring market. I'm expecting that to be at least another 1,000 going here in April, if not even more. So
yeah, and you brought up a really good point with, if you're thinking of selling right now, because for example, I recently just listed a house in Windsor Locks, and the owner had not even really considered selling because they literally gutted this place down to the studs, new electrical, new plumbing, installation, everything was done to this house. And after he saw one of our posts on Facebook, he realized that he could get more money now than he could at any other point in time. We literally put his house in the market for $209. Last Saturday, April 3rd, right before Easter. We had an open house from 10 to 1. We had 4 offers all coming in at $220 with an escalation clause, which basically says if there's any other offers that come in, they'll increase their offer by a certain dollar amount up to whatever their cap is. So we had one come in and we had a really good solid offer. I'm actually just wrote a post about this, but long story short, we had this great offer come in. It was $220 with an escalation clause to $226, no inspections, no contingencies. They were willing to pay $8,000 over the appraised value. So if the house appraised less than the $226, let's say it came in at $200, they would pay $208 or $220 or $218. They would pay the difference. So there were 3 other offers on top of that. They all came in at $220. Most of them had escalation clauses. The highest escalation clause was to $250. However, they like this offer because of the no inspections or anything like that, which are some things that can hang up a sale. That being said, we had everything signed the next morning. So Easter morning, I'm outside. All the contracts came through at about 11:30. At 12:30, I get a phone call from the other agent basically saying their first-time home buyers backing out because they feel that they might have paid $230 might have been too much. They didn't think the house would appraise. And then they, kind of wrote an offer they weren't really willing to back up. So luckily in this market, and in any market, if anybody's watching this and thinking of selling their home, you want to make sure whether it's a realtor like one of us or somebody on our team that realtor has backup offers, because there is nothing worse than calling the seller and saying, hey man, that awesome offer we had just backed out. And then the last thing I want to do is say, now we have to put it back on the market. I literally said, okay, I'm going to go to the second best offer, which was a VA loan, which had your typical contingencies and everything like that. But, they were willing to pay the $230, actually $231 because their escalation clause was for $1,000. So we just said, we'll do $230. They took it.
Yeah.
I called that agent. She was like, and her name's Amy. She's out of Massachusetts. And she was just like, tell me you're calling me to tell me my client got the house. And I said, well, I'm surprised you saved me to your phone already because we're not doing a transaction yet. But I was like, yeah, the house is yours if you want it. So she was ecstatic. Her client was happy. It made for a great Easter, but the market's insane.
And just to reiterate, what Aaron did there was he had an open house. So just so you know, we are allowed to have open houses again, as long as you guys, the clients, are safe with that and would like that. And it's a great. It's a great marketing. It's a great exposure, and you get a lot of people walking through your property at a one-time deal versus multiple times through the weeks. Right. And that's what lines these offers up. People get all excited and emotional. They put multiple offers. Us as realtors, we make a list. We have them in line. Obviously, we're working in your best interest, trying to get that best offer to present to you. And then we just kind of weed things out, and hopefully we can strike a deal really quick. So, that's the advantage of working with a realtor. We do all the marketing. We deal with all the clients, the realtors, all the little headaches, getting the deposit checks, getting the pre-approvals. All that important information is very, very important to put a deal together, because one missing piece can really make it fall apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best part is you get to work with us. It doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. So regardless if your home sells or not, you don't owe us a thing. And that's why, here on the team, we only take on houses that we know that we can sell and that the clients are realistic. The homeowners are realistic in the price.
Yeah. And that's another point you just made me think of is, in today's market, even this property Aaron just has under contract, it doesn't have to be finished. Like, you don't have to have a perfect house. If there is some slight, aesthetics that need to be worked on or landscape and things, you don't have to, have the mentality of, oh my God, I got to fix this property up. I got to, have everything perfect. Because right now it's so competitive. People are overlooking that. Granted, it's still got to approve for FHA and all these things, but like cosmetically, people are looking the other way right now, and you can still put it on the market without coming up with money and putting money back into the property, trying to make it that picture perfect house.
Yeah,
so
people are definitely, the buyers out there, because there's such a large buyer pool and there's still like zero inventory, which we're going to get into next, is the fact that people will overlook things. They, may not have the fenced-in backyard, or the backyard may not be super flat, or it doesn't have a pool, but it's in the school system they want. It's in the neighborhood that they want. They can see, their families being there. They can see entertaining in the kitchen. You might have some dated cabinets, but, I'm going to plug a company here real quick. Movement Mortgage is a company that we're going to be working with more here coming in the near future. We've got some events planned throughout the summer, but Movement Mortgage actually has some programs, and I'm hoping that the VA one comes back where you can do cosmetic stuff with a VA loan. But let's say you found that house that needs those updates. You don't have to come in conventional. You can get that FHA 203K and come in and have your kitchen remodeled, and all those costs are right there. So you're still getting the house you want. You might just have to, be a little more creative and have that foresight of what the house can look like.
Exactly. And a lot of buyers out there, a lot of first-time buyers out there are kind of stressing at, that it's so competitive and it's so overpriced. But, a real good strategy for new buyers, you may want to look at a little house that is a little fixer-upper and maybe needs a little rehab, or at least get painting or some cosmetic stuff, because it's a great way to get into a property that's underpriced, and then you can leverage that. And just like Aaron said, a 203 loan is great. You can do all that stuff you want to do to make it perfect for you and your family, and you can refinance back out of it and be in a great position moving forward, and you get in a property today versus waiting and those
properties are going to have a lot less competition, because most people are looking for HGTV homes, which we have some open floor plans, if I could say that, here in Connecticut. But you're not going to be walking into something you're going to see down south up here. You're not going to have necessarily all those big open rooms unless it's a newer construction. So going in and finding that house that might be a probate property or a foreclosure, if you can find them, or even just that family that has that vacant house that somebody passed away, the kids have been sitting on it, it's gone through probate, they just haven't sold it yet. You can get in there with that 203K loan, and you can reach out to Mark Hill through Movement Mortgage. I'll put his information down below, and then you can get that loan and get in there, and you have zero competition.
Yeah, for sure. And keep that in mind. And that's one thing I specialize here on the team is I kind of consider myself the agent investor. I love working with investors in really off-market properties that need rehab and need work. So I'm working on building that database of properties that are not on the market yet that need some rehab. So if you are a buyer and you're handy, with the hammer and all that, and you're considering that as a possible avenue, get in touch with us for sure. We are building on our list, and we will work with you. We're here to work with you guys and figure out a plan and tackle and get a house.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's try to keep this under 15 minutes here. Plus, I got to go get the kids out of school pretty soon.
Time flies.
Yeah, I know. Alyssa's working. But the supply right now, in February, it was 2 months. It's now still 2 months. So that being said, if nobody else lists a house, there'd be nothing left to sell in Connecticut. Now, that's not just your entry level, your median, your high-end homes, your lakefront properties, your ocean view properties or beachside properties. That's the whole state. So whether you're in Greenwich listening to this, or you're in Torrington, Connecticut, or Putnam, Connecticut, that's for the whole state. So it's really important. If you have ever thought about selling your home, please reach out to us, find out what your home would be worth, because we have people lined up looking to buy, and we just need to find them homes. Yeah,
for sure. And what would you say is the average? How many properties on the market? Like what is that number in a normal year?
Usually, like if you go back a year, there was probably like 8 months worth of inventory.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there it is again, just another statistic to identify that we are very low in inventory, but there's still a lot of great deals out there. Interest rates are still low. Just take advantage of all these economic times and what's going on, and we're always here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Howie, thanks for joining me today. We'll definitely have to do this again. We've got a few more inputs so we can get a few more people on the team here. And as always, please consider reaching out to us. If you have any questions regarding real estate, make sure you check out our Facebook group. It is a closed group, so just send me a message. We'll get you access to that so you can stay up to date on what's going on here in Connecticut. It's not just real estate specific. And thanks for watching, whether you're on YouTube or listening to the podcast. Hopefully this audio sounds pretty good. It's a new setup we're working with here. But thanks for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Have a great week.